Cup now has ARA, DHA, and prebiotics. It's the new, smarter formula. The time by Lasco 1 and Up is...
To all our listeners, our guests this morning. I want to say good morning to you, Lady Elise, and of course the man himself, Rohan Riley, this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a beautiful morning here in the Grand Cape. It's one of those mornings that it feels like sunshine. I'm looking at my favorite color, yellow, and it just brightens my day every time. Good morning, Elder Riley.
Good morning.
How are you? Today he has on an elder cap, but he's wearing Lasco everyday family value. He's talking about run walk, Cayman. That's so much.
Oh yes, this is the T-shirt that you'll be getting. One of them in different colors. When you're ready for the Lasco Cayman Adventist 10K coming up this Sunday. So this I'm just displaying one of the shirts that participants will receive when they register for the 10K this weekend.
Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. Let me first welcome you back to the Flashpoint Media Studio. Each time you come, it's refreshing, and we certainly appreciate your presence this morning. Now, you have come on several occasions for different reasons, talking about ASI, talking about Lasco, and today you're wearing a different cap.
Right.
And certainly the dress is in accordance with what you're going to be speaking about this time. But it's all about health and wellness.
Yes, certainly, we want to restart a conversation with the community about fitness and health. And we want this 10K to be a launching pad for us to engage our friends and our neighbors to say that here is a way that we can live healthily. We don't have to succumb to lifestyle illnesses. We don't have to spend the last 30 years of our lives dying. We can do certain basic things which will cause us to be healthy, to have a fulfilled life, to go into old age, not painfully and begrudgingly, and having people to carry us around. But there's a protocol that we can adopt early in our lives that will give us, we can't predict the future, and so one can die from an accident or whatever. But as far as the basic things we can do, and so I want to encourage persons to. And the thing about it is that the Adventists have had this what we call health message for hundreds of years.
Yes.
And many of them have adopted it and have been able to live healthily. And I just encourage the community to talk to any Adventist that even if they're not doing it, they know about it. I'll go to any Adventist church and speak to someone about these health protocols that you can adopt in your life that will give you a more enriched and fulfilling life. And they are very basic things. We're talking about, exercise. And exercise doesn't mean that you have to go to the gym or run a marathon. There are some things that you can do even in your chair. Somebody might be, sick, or somebody might be disabled. Or you can actually sit in your chair, do some arm raises, do some stretches, do some seated knee lifts, and you can get your circulation going and get some modicum of health. And then, others, I was telling you this morning about squatting. Squatting is something that you do, and why I know about squatting so much is that when you die from your legs up. One of the ways you can know that you are in a modicum of health is if you are able to stand up from your chair without holding on. And even better still, if you can stand up from the ground without holding on. And so if you can build your legs by squatting, you do 5 in the morning, you hold on to your chair, you do 5, the morning you do 10, and after a while you'll be doing, many. And there are other exercises that you can do. But that is one thing, you're going to think about nutrition, we have to. A lot of us put things in our bodies that we shouldn't. And that causes, they say you eat your way to the sometimes. Because many things we eat, we shouldn't put in our bodies, they're not good for us. We stack ourselves with all these sugars, we stack ourselves with all these processed foods, we stack ourselves with all these meat products. And we don't have to, because we can have a full, proper diet with all of these, with plant-based products. We can have plant-based, we can have beans, and we can have legumes and fruits and vegetables, and have a very enriching diet. And I can tell you, my wife prepares delicious meals, and we don't use any meat products. And they are always, very nutritious, very tasty, look good, and enjoyable. So we encourage people to go to the Adventist and learn about the health message. It comprises protocols on nutrition and exercise, on the amount of water you need to consume each day to keep hydrated. It contains things about how you relate to oxygen. Sometimes we are enclosed in a room all day, and then we're enclosed in our cars on the way home. So we leave home in an enclosed room. We go in the car, which is enclosed, and then we go to work and we are in an enclosed room. So our oxygen intake, as far as pure air, it is very restricted. And then also we are not exposing ourselves to the sunlight. And so there are protocols on how you need to relate to these elements that will ensure molecular health. And even if you're sick, there are a lot of diseases that we think are irreversible, like type 2 diabetes. Not irreversible. It is irreversible. You can adopt certain protocols that can reverse that. And in people who are maybe suffering from cancer, there's a way to alleviate the suffering by these lifestyle changes. So we want to start a conversation with Cayman to say, the Adventists have this protocol, and we are encouraging you to look into it and come and talk to us. We can share it with you for free.
Mikey G, as I listen to the conversation with Elder Rohan Riley, and we have to be cognizant of the fact that we have viewers and listeners that are tuned in all over the globe. And this conversation is still relevant to you wherever you are. And so we say good morning to our viewers on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and those listening on our web radio via www.flashpointmedia.ky. And I like the fact that Elder Rohan Riley, yes, he is an elder in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and that's why that handle is constantly there. But it is a conversation based on experience, and that is what I love about the conversation so far. You're not just picking something out of your hat because it sounds good to say, and this 10K walk that we're talking about is opening the door for a conversation. It's not the end all, but it is the first step in the right direction.
Well, as I listen, Ella Riley, I want to say good morning once again to our listeners as well and our viewers. I want to say also to you, Ella Riley, good morning. But I've listened to the conversation that you made mention that the health message has been around for a long time, and I'm understanding that we are actually doing a promotion of engaging in this health message and promoting the healthy way of living in accordance with our Adventist teaching and understanding of what health is supposed to be like. Because this is something that when Adventism began, it began not just with the biblical word and teaching of just about Christ, but about Christ's people who should be healthy while delivering the word to the world. And this is something that I'm happy for, that the conference has embarked upon such a measure that we're going to go forward and really push it to the community of the Grand Cayman Islands so they too can understand that they can live healthier and live better mentally, physically, and psychologically by just eating healthier foods. And of course, the ways of living and healthcare not just start with just diet, but of course exercise is a part of it.
Yeah, what I want to say too is that this is not an Adventist message. This health message is because one of the things that you might be aware of is that the U.S. government did 2 studies called the Adventist Health Study, where they actually looked at Adventists who followed, because many Adventists don't follow these protocols, right? But many do. And so they looked at over a period of time, over 20 years, the Adventists who follow the protocol as far as the diet, the exercise regimen, the water intake, and so on. They actually did a study, and they found that those who follow this protocol live 11 and a half years longer than the normal population. And so you can Google it, Adventist Health Study, done in the US. It shows that if you follow this protocol, they live 11 and a half years more than the average population, and also more than the Adventists who didn't follow. So it is something that is not, that is a universal thing, and it's nothing that you have to do that is going to tie you into any religion. It's there for everyone. A matter of fact, what's happening now is that most of these protocols are being promoted by non-Adventists. And so you find that most of the elements of this message is being promoted. A lot of the vegetarian and vegan restaurants are owned by non-Adventists. A lot of the health studios, a lot of the people who are going around and promoting healthy living and healthy cooking are non-Adventists. So it is not any unique Adventist who are promoting this concept. It's for everyone.
I like that, and I think we have become quite more sensitive as to our healthcare, and we think about living longer. There are songs about I want to live forever. I want to stay forever young. I want to be forever young. And persons do a lot of medical procedures sometimes to extend their life, extend the quality of their life. But what if there's something that you could just do every single day of your life to not only improve the quality, but the longevity? Then it is certainly worth more than money can pay for.
Of course, and the cost of healthcare is horrendous. If you get ill, that can wipe you out financially. And so it's not a matter of saying, okay, when I get ill, I can get some medicine. If you get ill, seriously ill, you have to go into the hospital. You might have to sell your house, you might have to get a mortgage, you might have to get a loan. So it's very expensive. And these protocols of just eating right, exercising, taking water, getting good rest, they're free. There's no cost attached to it. And so we want to definitely encourage folks to give it a thought, to reach out and to start this conversation on how you can start at any age. You don't have to be a young person. It's better when you're young, but old folks, middle age, any age.
You have to start just now.
Just now. And that's why we invite everyone to come to this 10K. We're not asking young people, we're asking people, and that's how we have set up. We have 4 to 6, we have 6 to 10, races. You have a 1.5 mile, you have a half mile, you have a quarter mile. So all the kids, we're inviting them to come out. Then for the 10K, we have the 13 and up. But we're not just saying 13 and up, we're saying 13 to 20. You're in a category, so you're going to get your first, second, and third. And you have 20 to 30, you're going to get your first, second. So you're not like you're going to come and there's going to be one winner. There are going to be dozens of winners, because in every age group category, you're going to be a winner. So we want everyone. So we want 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, and then we have 60 up to 100 or whatever it is. So you're not going to come and say, okay, young people are going to get all the medals and all the prizes. It's going to be every age group. So when you're in the 60 plus, you're going to be able to get your first, second, and third prize. So everybody, we want everybody to be there. It's not just for the professional runners. It's for the walkers. It's for those who feel they might be able to finish. We have a lot of marshals, so you just put your hand up and someone might drive you in. So everyone, it's a family event. Bring your kids in the stroller, bring grandma. It's going to be a family event. Everybody's going to be there. But of course, we're going to have the professional runners because we have Race Caribbean, who's going to be professional timing the race. Because a lot of runners, they use these races as preparation for like later races like the marathons and the half marathons. So we're going to have the timing being done so they can know exactly how they're performing. And so all the professional runners are going to be there, and we just going to have a wonderful time. And a big part of it is that after the race, we're going to come from the Cayman Academy and we're going to have a big prize giving and award ceremony. And of course, Black Friday is going to be there with some music. And we're going to be there giving out all the prizes. And Sherry Riley, who is the GM for Lasco Cayman, she's going to be there with a host of goodies. She has some bags of Lasco items that, so the winners are going to get grocery bags with Lasco products. And then everybody who's there is going to get a little Lasco sample bag also. So everybody's going to be with something, whether you're a runner or you're just coming to cheer along. You're going to get a item from Lasco. Thanks to Sherry for putting that together.
I say congratulations to Lasco and to your family, as well as the Adventist family and everyone that will have contributed to this 10K walk run. Now, how do you register? How can you come on board, and what are the times? Where's the starting location? So on and so forth.
Okay, so registration is ongoing. You go down to the Adventist office, the conference office, which is on 209 Walkers Road. And so you go down to 209 Walkers Road, walk into the health store, and they'll point you to where you can get registered and get your t-shirt. But even easier, you can go on caymanactive.com and you can register on Cayman Active. So if you can't make it down there, you can go register on Cayman Active and then come a little before the race and get your t-shirt. So it's very, very simple. If you're in town and you're able to do your lunchtime after work, go down to the conference office at 209 Walkers Road and get registered. Or if not, you go on to caymanactive.com and you can get registered there. And the race starts right there. We're going to gather on Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. And in the vicinity of the conference office, 209 Walkers Road, there's a parking space right across from the office. We've been permitted to use that parking space. And so there's enough parking. You can park in Cayman Academy, or you can park across the road in that parking space. And the race activity is a little way down Walkers Road. So you walk down to Walkers Road. If you want to drive down there, there's not much parking, but down Walkers Road, at the first street right at corner there, you can go down, and that's where the race starts. So it's going to be this Sunday, the 23rd. It's going to be 4 p.m. for the walkers, and then 4:30 p.m. for the runners, and then the kids race, which is going the opposite direction, will start at 5 p.m. But everything concludes at Walkers Road and Cayman Academy / the conference office. So we just want to encourage everyone to work
I was listening to some of the runners or persons participating in it, and one of them was the man Paul Williams. And Paul is an active athlete in the 10K, the 5K, and as he boasts, I'm going to say it like that, and I'm saying for him, I'd say I'm proud of him for being so active, and I see the pride that he has in doing this. And as he says, I'm proud to be this person who I'm in my 60s and I'm the top contender in my division, and he will be at the race as well. I want to say a big up to the man Paul Williams this morning, a friend of mine, somebody I know very well for a very long time. And I'm saying these races and these events have really helped so many persons, not just to have a healthier lifestyle, but have a community to be involved with. And that is one of the things that I'm looking at. It's not just a race, but building a community of persons interacting with different persons from different parts of our community and our sectors in the Grand Cayman. And not just Grand Cayman as it is now. Flashpoint has taken you a little bit further across to global a little bit more to expand us some more for persons even outside of Cayman, if they choose to be a part of this race, can now book their time, come in and actually be a part of this great event.
I want to tell you, Mikey, as you mentioned that when this race started, this race started June 1990. So this is actually 35 years ago. And
35 years. Wow.
Pastor Ephraim Grant was the one who started it here in Cayman. And in those years, he had runners coming in from Panama, from Jamaica, from Dominican Republic, from the USA, from Canada. He had folks from all over Costa Rica. Because many folks came coming. So if your listeners out there, and some of them might even remember those days, go on CaymanActive.com, get all the information, and then fly down for this race because that's the history. And I talked to Pastor Grant earlier, and he said that he used to be able to have teams coming in from different countries. And so we want to regain those glory days of the 10K. And so Lasco has stepped up and done a 5-year agreement with the conference to sponsor the 10K for the next 5 years. And of course, we ask for other sponsors because, it's we can do more with more. So although we have put up a 25K for this period, I'm sure we can take more sponsors. So we invite others to jump in. And of course, as the event gets more popular, I'm sure other sponsors will come in. But we are appealing that if you're out there and you want to be a part of it, it's not too late. You can come in, you can say, I'll sponsor some spot prices. I want to be involved in this. I want to be signed up for as one of the sponsors for next year. It doesn't have to only be Lasco, it can be any corporation that wants to jump in. And we're also asking companies to send teams. We have prizes for the top company. We're inviting the schools to send teams. We have prizes for the top school. And of course, we have prizes for the top church, which I'm encouraging all churches to send their teams out and to make sure that they are the winners. So it's going to be a big fun event. It's going to be a big celebration for the Adventists. They're going to church that Sunday night. They come on down and celebrate with us. And we are not preaching the gospel message. We are preaching the health message. So we're not going to baptize anybody. And we're going to be talking about health. And we can preach everything. I was saying earlier that sometimes if we pull back from preaching and start to share the health message, it will be just as effective because the health message is... Go ahead.
No, what you're saying, finish your point, Ella.
Yeah, I was saying that is a lot of people won't listen to you if you want to give them advice. But you can tell them this, I can tell you how to improve your health. And this is a God-given protocol. You'll have their ear, and it can be an opening for you to start that conversation about other things in their lives that they might need to address. But this is a wonderful way to actually open the door to start that discussion with your friends and your family.
We are experiencing a hurricane in Jamaica right now, or the devastation of one that has just passed through and devastated the country, And as you speak about putting down the microphone and the preaching, and I would say that the biggest demonstration of Christ and his love could be in helping someone to come back from this devastation. That's one way. But bring it home to Cayman. There are persons within the Cayman Islands who are living and having serious issues and different conditions. And the best way to promote Christ to them would possibly to reach out to them and see how much as a community can be that help, that hand of care that could be extended, And so this is where I go. And as you mentioned, just doing the health talk, just doing the run walk can be a way of talking to someone about health and better living. But as I say this, I want to say you must do a little 5 minutes charge while the persons are standing there, and tell them a little bit more on the mic and tell them, we thank you for coming out, but Christ love you too, that kind of thing. And give them a John 3:16,
But we want to thank our director for the race, which is Merle Watkins, Sister Merle, as you know her. She's the one getting everything together. And so we have to thank her. She's doing a great work.
Yes.
Putting all this stuff together, and it can be a lot. And Shiri Riley from Lasco, who's also, they're getting things together so that we have a wonderful event. So I want to thank these two ladies, and Devaro is doing the promotional end. And so there are a lot of people behind the scenes who are making this happen. And so we just want to thank them. And we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time.
So registration fee.
Yes, so it's a $75 registration fee. And this fee goes towards next year in August, we're going to have a big youth camp. So all proceeds goes to this youth camp. We're going to have youth coming in from the different countries around, and we want to be able to have a camp for the young people. So we just ask you to support, if you want to give extra for this youth camp, we have to support you. And we think that this camp being held in April 2026 is going to be a big event for the youth, and we want them to come out from the different countries in the region and to really share with us here in Cayman. And so all the registration fee will go towards that. I understand also Cayman Academy is also involved in this event, and will also event too. So we want to every week it's all about young people. We want to support you with our registration fees. We have the Lasco drop something in again, which was a late thing. She told me yesterday when I went to praise, but that the winners, in addition to getting their trophy, so the winners, the top male and top female, will also be getting a cash prize. And so, for those who know, they'll be the winners, not me.
There's power in the spoken word. Let me tell you, there is power. You put it out there in the atmosphere. I remember the last 5K that you did, and sometimes it is just as you reach the finish line, or you need that amount of energy to push, and I'm giving it all, and then Elder Riley just does this beside me and passes me there. But it is important that let the community
don't celebrate, because everyone knows I'm in the middle of the pack. I'm going to train on the road, right? My wife and I used to train on the road, and people used to come and tell me, man, you want to run so far, even. Because she used to be like a mile ahead, because as most people know, Shiri was part of the Beautiful Brigade.
Yes.
That running group from Cayman, those guys used to run for Cayman Beautiful.
Yeah.
Mikey might know about them. So she's an athlete, and she's been one who's really been inspired.
What I'm gonna do for this run 10K, I probably have to put on my shorts for this one.
You should be there, man. You should be there. We're celebrity section now. So
you're setting me up to
you're the celebrity section, man. Come on, man. The one you gonna get green Utah and we have all
so hold on. So you're setting up the win to lose. That's what you're saying?
Well, I'm calling on this morning saying you get a special prize.
Well, you have it. If you are listening from outside of the Cayman Islands, there is still room for you to be a part of this very prestigious 10K walk run, and it's a community event. It's not just a race.
Yes.
Once you are able to participate, it's spreading that we can contribute to our health. We can make our lives better, our quality of life, just one step at a time, just one decision, one movement at a time. And so I applaud Lasco and the team for stepping ahead and letting the voice be heard. So wherever you're hearing us from this morning, I know after the last couple of years we've been talking about health and lifestyle so much more. And sometimes we get so busy with life that we forget how important it is, and we wait, oh, I'm not fit, I'm not this. But it could be just a walk, right? And you don't have to do all of the 10K. You can manage 5, you can manage half of it. Just step out, and that is the mission.
Yes, that's the mission, that's the hope. That after this, people say, for the weeks coming, I started my exercise journey at the Lasco Cayman Adventist 10K, and I've continued it. Every day I go out and I do a half mile or a mile, or I walk around my house, but that is the point where it started. And when you see the benefits, when you see the weight going up, when you see the breathing improving, the sleeping improving, you can say, you can mark that point.
And your health care, your mental health too, just by walking or just by exercising, it does so much for our bodies.
Yeah. And that's what we want to do. We want to just let people use this as a launching pad for their own health journey. Even if you're sick, don't just give up and say, well, I'm sick and I'll just die soon. You don't have to die soon. You can get up and you can do things that will prolong your life, prolong your well-being. And this might be where it begins. So let's come out and start a conversation.
All right.
And hopefully, we'll engage. We are hoping that people engage us and call us to keep talking about it. We'll get in touch with the others of the team who have more information than I have to share. We can talk about how to stop smoking. We can talk about how to reverse diabetes. We can talk about what things we do know that actually cause cancer in our bodies. There are a number of discussions that we can have with the community about how to improve their health. And if it is said at the end of the day that all the Adventist did for Cayman is to help them to improve the health and well-being of the nation, that would have been
that would be it. All right, so I want to run the promotional that we have, Lady Elise, Ella Riley, for this event, and I want to share it with the listeners and viewers this morning.
You're listening to Flashpoint, the family radio.
Get ready to move for a great cause. The Cayman Islands Conference of Seventh-day Adventists presents the Lasco Cayman Adventist Annual 10K Run Walk 2025. It's all happening Sunday, November 23rd, starting at 4 p.m. Walkers, runners at 4:30, and the kids start at 5. Register today at CaymanActive.com or visit the Adventist headquarters on Walkers Road. Entry fee just $25 KYT. All proceeds go to the Youth Camp 2026. So lace up, show your spirit, and let's make a difference together. Sponsored by Lasco and Praise 87.9 FM, the voice of hope for the Cayman Islands.
The sun it hot like fire, but I still have to go try and get you what me have to do today. My friend them pan the economy, I link them out, we gonna ride up soon. Go look around me, say I ride cool, say I play cool, say I stay cool, say I drink cool, say my friend them Billy spread them with I cool, them drink it in them with I cool for life. I cool for life.
I cool for life. All right. Of course, we have the Lasco ad going on. I like it. I wanted to say
I cool for life. Ella Riley, I want to say thank you so much for joining us this morning on the breakfast hour. It has been enlightening. It has been refreshing. I just want to remind the listeners, those of you who are in Cayman, and if you're able to come in, the walk run comes up this Sunday, November 23rd, yes, at 4 p.m. And you can register, visit CaymanActive.com or visit Walkers Road, 209 Walkers Road, and you will pick up your shirt and your registration right here. So thank you so much for joining us, and any last words you want to share with our listeners and viewers this morning?
Yes, as we said, we just want to encourage you to be healthy, live healthy. I want to thank again Lasco and team here in Cayman and Lasco generally, the brand. I mentioned to you earlier that the iFood is now 50% sugar reduction. We have a new variant of it, so that will be there. You can come and sample. We're gonna have a lot of samples. We're gonna have the Lasco folks out to give us products, sample products. We're gonna invite you to come and to taste and to enjoy some of our Lasco items. We finished the race on that day.
All right, stay healthy, Cayman. That's the mission. Stay healthy, stay strong, one step at a time. Thank you for coming into the studio. We appreciate your presence every single time you make it here.
But I'm up for the Lasco, that chocolate, what's it, the mint
chocolate mint.
Chocolate.
I know you like that one.
that one. That one.
So Flash, Mark, are you living on this earth?
All right, so I'm up for the chocolate mint. The mint. I'm definitely up for that one. So
yes.
I'll be coming out for the mint. I'm running for the mint. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. Of course, our listener viewers, wherever you are this morning, I want to say good morning to your VIPs. Good morning to your Grand K. Have yourself a wonderful day. Of course, we have more to come when you come back.
Yes, our financial advisor will be joining us shortly.
Good morning. This is day 18. The whole creation groans and labors with birth pangs together until now. Romans chapter 8, verse 22. A World in Labor, written by Dale Beaver. Every now and then, the earth lets out a moan. Sometimes it's more of a scream, like a mother giving birth. The Apostle Paul said that the whole creation groans and labors. These groans often take the form of earthquakes, landslides, hurricanes, or tsunamis. A song by Sarah McLachlan speaks to this instability and the often tragic results of such geological flailing. Called World on Fire, one verse describes dealing with tragedy this way. I watch the heavens and I find a calling, something I can do to change this moment. Stay close to me while the sky is falling. Don't want to be left alone. We aren't alone in longing for Jesus our Savior to return. As we wait, He is our constant companion. Like the earth, we rant and rave for God to make things right. We as His followers are called to wait with perseverance, in spite of our earthly uncertainties. Someday, all of creation will be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. Jesus said that He would be with us always, even to the end of the age, and we can trust Him to keep His word. When earthquakes and calamities increasingly appear, look up, trust God. He is in control. Redemption is drawing near. Our quote this morning reads, Jesus makes possible our new birth and nature's rebirth. End quote.
platforms. If you're tuned in on any of our media platforms, we welcome you. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or on our web radio, welcome back to the Breakfast Hour. And of course, I'm excited that after we spoke about our physical health, we're going to talk about some finances. Now, our financial advisor is very well rounded, and of course, he has taken us through a variety of conversations talking about savings, purchasing our car, retirement, real estate, you know, and estate planning as well. And today he's joining us once more. Welcome, Richard. It is a pleasure to have you again on the Breakfast Hour.
Good morning. Thank you, Lady Elise, for that introduction. Mikey G, good
I
morning.
want to say, I want to add good morning to you as well. I want to add my quota of thank you for joining us this morning as well, and to bring more. We did, as Lady Elise said, we did the health walk and run and healthy in eating. So we're going to be healthy in our pockets now in financial health as well. Good morning.
Good morning again. Well, again, thank you for having me. I have been absent for a few weeks, as you probably realize. And that, of course, in no small part, was due to Hurricane Melissa. We had disruption in communication. And then after all of that, my personal on back with the series.
One of the I would say to you
so
that
today,
Lasco,
I've decided to call the series.
I was saying before you tell me the series, what you're calling the series, I was saying that Lasco has a product called tin mackerel in the tin. And so there's another name for it. They call it dirty gal. You know, the mackerel, dirty gal. As Jamaica, it's a Jamaican vernacular, a word that Jamaica use. Dirty gal, Jamaica. You know, as you were saying. All right, you were saying you were to name the series.
They call it flash out too.
Flash out and flash out and flash out. You talked about Melissa a while ago. The storm and how it affects Jamaica. That's what you were saying.
Right. And I've decided to call this particular series Understanding the Hurricane Impact, Housing, Communities and the Market. In our housing series that we just concluded, we were speaking about the virtues of coming to Jamaica and setting up back your home in Jamaica and the Caribbean as a whole. And I remember saying that one of our biggest threats to the Jamaican and the Caribbean community was that of hurricanes. And we even, if I remember correctly, told about the hurricane that impacted the Lesser Antilles last year, Barbados, and some of the other countries on that side. It was our turn in Jamaica this year with Melissa. The series, I want to call it Rebuilding Stronger. It's just a short series, maybe 3 or 4 episodes. We haven't finalized it yet. Still in its conceptual nature. And I really just want to look at the impact that the hurricane has had on Jamaica and on the Caribbean, what it means to us in the Caribbean as a whole, because it was a Category 5 and it's the strongest storm on record in the Caribbean that has hit land. Right? I make sure I tell you everything, so I hope I'm not didn't mislead anybody, but it's the first Category 5 storm to hit land. Right? All the other hurricanes that hit land were not Category 5, but we have had Category 5 hurricanes in the Caribbean before. Let's put it that way. But before we dive in, I would love to acknowledge everyone who has been affected. There are persons who have lost not just the physical home that they lived in, but they shared memories. I mean, you go to some communities, the church, the bell tower is still standing, but everything else around it is missing. Pews broken up, albums, photo albums thrown around the place. Um, and interesting, in one community, I saw a lady with a T-shirt that marked, "This is my only T-shirt."
Wow.
So even out of this, she had a sense of humor to be wearing that particular
Something that,
T-shirt.
that gave her a little bit of smile.
During
And
the
honest.
hurricane.
Mm.
Right. And not just those affected, but those who are also helping Jamaica to recover. Right? We are slowly recovering, and this platform, I'm hoping, will serve as part of that rebuilding process.
Right.
So what did I see? And I have been across Western Jamaica, well, from the east to the west. Let's start with the east. Kingston. I haven't been to St. Thomas or Portland, but just from the reports that I've heard, minor damage, some amount of trees falling, water damage. But as you go west into the Sinsbet, Westmoreland, Trelawney, Hanover, and St. James, we find that we have had different experiences because of where they are geographically. You have had flooding in areas such as West Green and communities of Westgate, West Green, Catherine Hall. We've seen roof damage in Westmoreland, Sinsbet because of the high winds. We have seen total devastation where the impact, where it made landfall in eastern Westmoreland. Downed light poles, trees. I mean, somebody said it looked like it was a nuclear bomb. And I mean, I literally saw that. And there were places where you know that structures existed because you see the underlying, the most of these were wooden, of course, but you see the platform that it was built on. There is interruption to daily life. There's no infrastructure in terms of communication, and there was no communication up to just a week ago by the cell services, who, by the way, I must applaud for their speedy response. It's just 3 weeks, and 50% of the island, the eastern half, have light and water and internet connection already. The western half slowly coming to, but they have done so much in such a short time. St. James, well, Montego Bay, let me speak of Montego Bay directly, has now got back their water supply and light in the greater metropolitan area. The other areas, of course, the light poles are still down, the fields are still waterlogged. I mean, it's taking time to dry off. But in all of this devastation, I love what I saw in terms of communities coming together. I went to one of the more popular places in Jamaica, larger place in Jamaica last week when I was going west, and there were no tin foods on its shelf.
Wow.
All the bread was empty. And where they were going, people were packing up because to go on the weekend to these areas to help out, being a neighbor, right? So the communities came together, east helped west, and it's still helping. And that is just locally. We are now seeing the persons volunteering. We had a fire team that came in for rescue from the United States. We have had emergency services. I don't know where they are from, but they are assisting the JPS, Jamaica Public Service, in putting back the light poles. We saw construction equipment brand new rolling off the wharf and heading west to clear debris, right? And so we've seen where all of these groups, volunteers, churches, NGOs are coming together. And I personally was down in West Green and Catherine Hall doing my bit. I had a group of volunteers and we literally power washed mud out of the house. Try to do a deep clean in assisting them. And in addition to that, we also had, I don't want to mention by name because I don't want to seem like, but it's everyone coming in. So where my effort may have been seen as so small within the whole, because a number of us were doing it, we had everything happening. And houses are taking time being cleaned and getting back on track. People are moving on to their regular livelihood. Now for a deeper dive, what does this mean on our housing impact? Where is it going? We have flooding and moisture damage in their homes. Persons who have lost roofs during the hurricane. We have also had rain during this period. So you find that furniture has been damaged. So not just a roof that you now have to replace. You now have to replace furniture that may have been water damaged. And I mentioned the emotional part. You're not losing just your house and your bed and furniture. You're losing those memories, those photo albums that cannot be replaced, those hard drives that had on memories and work-related stuff. These things are very difficult to put back together. And if erased, I mean, how can you tell somebody that had a wedding, that got married 20 years ago that, hey, all my photo album is gone, my wedding album is gone? That type of thing. Or persons who, from the 50s, you had a father, grandfather. Those are things that are going. Now, as I said, broadly speaking, moisture damage, we're looking at mold in some of these houses. We're looking at flooring. Those that had, instead of having concrete partitions, we're looking at partitions that need to be removed altogether and replaced. We're looking at structural vulnerability of roof. Those roofs need to be replaced, and how are we going to replace them? Older units, have they done their time? These units are now 40, 50 years old. Have they done their time? Do we need to strengthen or do we need to demolish and start over?
Well,
for those persons who are displaced currently, what impact will it have on our rental stock? Can we manage to rent at a lower price in order to allow these persons to come in? Or do we, or you have a family of 4 or 5 that has been displaced and they are waiting for their roofs to be fixed or their infrastructure to come back together. It's temporary, but how do we manage that process?
I have looked at the conversation. I was talking to the deputy councillor person in the consulate in Cayman, in the consulate in Cayman, and so we were talking about the opportunity that this hurricane has presented for Jamaica infrastructure in that side of the island, and how we can strengthen the housing or the community development in a different way. It's a bad thing that has happened, but it poses an opportunity to do something great, to reconstruct and to build stronger and better than it was before. As you said, as you mentioned just earlier, that some of the houses are old houses and possibly structured at this time may need some demolishing and to reconstruct. Some of them can be strengthened and continue to be renovated and renewed. But in the whole of this is where we talk about planning and engineering, community-based organizing, where you want to organize the community by putting in place now various parts that community may have been missing for a while, like parks, common spaces, and proper roads, roadways that don't seemingly lead into a little small space that cannot be properly policed. And we are looking at this from a crime prevention point of view and healthier living and safer community base. And that's where I would be placing my conversation and my concern in recontinuing the building up of the country at this time, and by putting in proper infrastructure, by putting in proper planning in how things must be laid out, we can have a safer community, not just getting back homes, but the safety of the persons within these homes. This is my main concern, that while we build and rebuild, we build safe communities for the people of Jamaica in the east and western side of the island. This is an opportunity that we have now.
That
so
is true.
Important. And just to say, Richard, as you continue the conversation, that we have a viewer online who just pointed out to us that the CUC, that's the Cayman Islands Utility Company, sent a team from Cayman to help with GPS as well. Good morning.
Okay. That's why I didn't want to call names, but yes, we did see them on the ground.
Yes.
And they were quite well branded.
It is important. It is important though, you know, to really recognize the help that we are getting. So not to seem ungrateful in a lot of ways. We need to at least acknowledge those who are actually putting their lives on the line for each of us. You know, I just learned of an experience of someone that has basically got injured and could possibly lose their life just by helping someone else. And so we are seeing things like that happening all over. And we are now knowing that when these guys go out there and they touch these power lines, they themselves can be a casualty of the help that they are giving.
That is true.
So,
and just to hit on a point that you made, 1988 Hurricane Gilbert. Jamaica's infrastructure was not as developed as it is today. And I want to hasten to say that even though the devastation was as widespread as it was, it affected older houses or houses that were not built to the newer regulations. So wooden houses, for example, fell victim. Older infrastructure that were built with beyond or pre-1988, you could see the damage to those structures differently from those that were built post-1988. And in fact, since the 2000s, with the overhauling of the regulations that we had in Jamaica, I would say the housing stock, based on my observation, the structure itself remained intact. What we lost was due to wind damage. And we're talking about 180 miles per hour minimum wind speed of gusts up to 250, right? So when you hear that a roof has been lost, and I want to put this in perspective, how many of us drive at 180 miles an hour continuously? And try and imagine you driving and hitting a brick wall at 180 miles an hour, and what damage that would have done to yourself and the brick wall.
Yes.
So it's don't think that it was flimsy infrastructure that Jamaica had. You have to also put it in context. What is it that hit that wall? And you remember, you have debris flying
all
in
over.
The wind.
Yes.
That matches that
wind speed.
So it's not just the big impact that hit off the roof, but those structure that got damaged
and debris flying
were damaged because of debris flying.
Debris moving.
I saw a car, and then it just sent you some pictures. I don't know if Lady Elise will have some of those pictures, but with cars that were piled up 3 high, how the water pushed them back into the on one onto the other. They were parked neatly side by side, and they just crumpled on. We have boats that were flipped. We have cars that were flipped over. Those are the type of things we're talking about, and all of this is because of wind. Right? Now, we don't want to be very speculative here, but I can tell you, based on even my own personal experience, I experienced some damage too. There was an initial shortage of some material, right? Building material. And you must understand why. If you're building 1,000 homes per year, and all of a sudden you have 10,000 that have been damaged, you're going to have an increase in demand for certain building material, right?
Right.
Zinc, roofing material, etc. And so the demand, and of course, the number of persons available to do this work will also have been stretched thin. So we now have waiting periods, weeks, maybe into months, for your repair to be done. We look at insurance. The good thing about most of the housing stock that came through loans, and a lot of people still have mortgages, is that the mortgage companies try their best to ensure that the properties were properly insured. They may not have been fully insured at today's rate, but the fact is there's some amount of insurance available. NHT mandates that you have insurance on your property. We're going to look at climate risk. We're going to have greater interest in climate change and resilience to the impact of climate change. And of course, we have to look at drainage. You mentioned security in our community planning, because a lot of the flooding could have probably been prevented had we had proper drainage to get these flood waters out. Road construction. Now, I must tell you, the highways and the main thoroughfares in Jamaica has withstood the impact of the hurricane. Where we saw a lot of damage was to the interior, those that are close to rivers, where you had damage on the roadway. So again, you build along this river into the hills, and the impact, the rush of the water coming down, that will have caused damage to roadway and infrastructure that, no matter how soon or how lately it was built, they would have impacted. Now, in addition to all that I've said, I want to acknowledge the Jamaican government, the government agencies, ODPEM in particular, who is spearheading the whole relief effort. The Jamaica Defense Force, Jamaica Constabulary Force, Jamaica Fire Brigade, Jamaica Combined Cadet Force, the Red Cross, and all the other groups that have come together to help. Then, of course, we have the volunteer groups. We have the Baptists, the Seventh-day Adventists, through ADRA. We have Food for the Poor. And I know I'm just naming a few, but they have all come together to do this, right? We have regional partners. We mentioned Cayman through CUC. We have North American and European partners who have come in and started giving aid, both in terms of manpower and in terms of equipment. And of course, other humanitarian organizations. World Food Kitchen is one big one. They brought their own helicopters here and are flying to the south, preparing the meals in the north and flying to the south. And all the contributions of individuals all over, barrels and small pallets coming in with all kind of equipment, food and clothing and building material coming in. So thank you so much, right? On behalf of Jamaica, we are all grateful, and it is making a real difference, right? So what next? What next? Next week, I want to talk about insurance and our claims process. But the next step, of course, is for those persons to get an estimate on their damage. If they were insured, get insurance. And as I said, next week we'll talk about a little bit more about insurance, how to go through the claims process, and for those who are not insured to insure, and those who are underinsured to get their coverage up to snuff. Construction material, the costs, those things will impact. Do we have money saved up to probably re-roof our homes until the insurance claim comes through? And of course, future-proofing our housing stock. How can we, in the light of climate change and all of this that is happening, how can we make sure that not only because if mere fact has hit us once, when the next hurricane hits, can we really withstand? Can our housing stock withstand? Can our infrastructure withstand that volume of rainfall? Can it withstand that volume and impact of the wind that came with it? Right? We will rebuild, we will restore, and we will rise stronger than before. Thank you very much.
You know, one of the things that I want to say is that we found out that rivers were running through some of the communities. And,
Yes.
and this was, for me, nefarious practices and disingenuous practices of persons who would have been landowners or owners of property that would have dumped some of these lands and sell it off as prime property for persons to build or buy as property. Riverbeds and stuff. I see this happening. So we now have an opportunity to go back and revisit Jamaica's original plans of where rivers were running, and so that persons are not going to be and prosecute people for doing that.
But you know, Mikey G, as you have that made a statement on screen is a picture. I know you one of the pictures that Richard shared from his many visits to Western Jamaica, and I believe this is a community of Catrinal, and on the ground there is a level of mud that you still see more than a week after Melissa. And this is as a result of the Barnett River, which, what's the word? It's overflow its banks. So, of course, the community, most of the houses have been flooded, and they still have mud, high level of mud that they have to contend with.
I would ask the question, did the river have a clear path of traveling? Or was it a little bottleneck thing and just a little culvert, a little thing that they put it in?
No, the river, in all fairness, the river had its clear path. What happened is that the river bends at a particular point.
Yes.
And with the rush of water coming from the
it just burst over.
It burst right at the bend, it burst over. And there is almost a parallel street. So if you think about it, water runs in the area of least resistance. If you give me a nice straight lane to pour water down, what is it going to do? It's going to go down that lane rather than continue around its bends, right?
Right.
That leads out to this. And so that was what happened. It literally went along the roadway that was built. For those who know Jamaica, that hill that takes you from Sam Sharp Teachers College straight down to where Sumfest is. That is one straight road. And that one straight road, literally, when the floodwaters came off the hill and the river, so the waters on the right hand side from the hillside and the river on the left side, when that converged, everything, the mud from the river, the banks, all that debris from off the hill, continued on the easiest path down.
That is good.
Just so happened that these communities were on the other side. The West Green community, Catherine Hall community are there. Because, to be honest with you, based on all the reports that I've heard, all of this happened, the flooding happened after the hurricane passed. Like a good half an hour after the hurricane passed.
The rainfall,
no winds, nothing else.
The rainfall that continues.
But the water that came out, yes, the rain that continued.
Yes,
and the amount of water that inundated the catchment areas, flooded down.
Well, we know that a lot of trees were lost in the whole thing, and so erosion would have been taking place at a more rapid pace
That is
because of the
correct.
lack
Far
of
more
vegetation
vegetation.
and trees
Right.
that would have prevented that roots that would have held the soil together. And this is something that we are looking at, you know. But you know, just to think about it, we know we can see and map areas in which we can now determine how to now engineer better even the river itself in for future references to come.
Well, what they're saying now that they will do some river training by putting, for those who know, they're going to bank it with rocks right at that bend.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what
some
I
engineering need to be put in place
So
for that for something to
Right.
take place.
So that in future, what will happen is that the water will go around, the rocks will prevent it from breaking up.
From
From going over.
straight
yeah.
over into the street.
They'll have spill over because of it, yeah, but not the entire banking being washed out.
Right. Wow.
And these pictures are 2 to 3 weeks after the storm. What you see now as dried mud was literally slurry mud.
Slurry mud.
Just imagine, yeah, and the closest thing, and I hope I don't hurt anyone's body's stomach by it, but it had a almost like
Yes, we got it.
molasses. Yeah, I think that is the closest I can look at it. Molasses, that type of thick.
I've
mud
seen.
was that thick,
I grew up on a farm, you know. I grew up on a farm, right?
So you know what molasses look like.
I know what molasses look like.
Right. Just imagine the entire road spread with molasses. I'm walking with a water boot, and the water boot won't be sucked off my feet because of the level of mud that was there.
I lived on a farm. And there was a time when there was a lot of flooding that went on, and the cows were stuck in the pastures near where the ponds were, and we had to go and pull them out. We had to take the tractors and tie on them to drag them out because they were sucked in the mud and they couldn't move. Some of them lay dead before they could have been rescued. Lots of stuff.
You know, there's so much to share, Richard, and I like how you caption the series that you have embarked on. And though you say it was a short series, this alone, just the introductory part, is so interesting. And you know, you're speaking from being on the ground and your experiences. And I thank you on behalf of Flashpoint Media for reaching out to the persons in Western Jamaica, because each and every weekend, yes, when we say Flashpoint is there, ahead of the team is Richard, as he leads and he has cadets, he has so many arms, but he has a team of volunteers, and they have been on the ground helping one family at a time and reaching out. So thank you so much, because I know it takes effort and energy to do that. Thank you from all of us here at Flashpoint, and we look forward to what you share with us come Tuesday, each and every week, when we have our financial segment. So thank you so much for joining us once more on the Breakfast Hour. It has been an enriching experience, and I say, keep on doing the great work that you're doing.
I would say also that, you know, we have to put some Flashpoint tags on some of the persons that are down there doing the help, so people know that Flashpoint is there as well. Makes sense.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you for joining this morning. Of course, this morning's experience is brought to you by Lasco Food Drink, and of course, for all your food drinks and the chocolate mint. Chocolate mint,
yes.
And the tin mackerel, the dirty girl, not Melissa, no, sorry, the mackerel, sorry.
Yes, and thanks to our viewers on YouTube and Instagram, those who are in the chat, the one who says a powerful speech from Mikey G, you should be on the rebuilding task force if there's one, with your level of experience, expertise, and innovative foresight for the country of Jamaica.
Thank you so much. I want to also give a shout out to the lady, Mrs. Carol Gold, and of course the Gold family, right here on Flashpoint this morning. I want to say for them, Flashpoint would not be what it is without their help and always constant support of this great movement that we have. Of course, when we come back, much more to come. Welcome back. All right.
In the same mode that we are welcoming you back, we want to say have a wonderful day. I want to encourage you to stay connected to Flashpoint right here, www.flashpointmedia.ky. Our web radio is rich with information, rich with entertainment, good stuff happening. And if you want to contact us, you can send us a message on WhatsApp 345-321-6969 or send us an email at info@flashpointmedia.ky. Our physician comes up on Wellness Wednesday tomorrow. You absolutely cannot afford to miss it. And remember to go ahead and register for the Cayman Adventist, the Lasco Cayman Adventist 10K walk happening this Sunday, 4 p.m., November 23rd. Right here in the Grand Cave. Have a beautiful day, everyone.
Listening to Flashpoint, the family radio.
Get ready to move for a great cause. The Cayman Islands Conference of Seventh-day Adventists presents the Lasco Cayman Adventist Annual 10K Run Walk 2025. It's all happening Sunday, November 23rd, starting at 4 p.m. Walkers, runners at 4:30, and the kids start at 5. Register today at CaymanActive.com or visit the Adventist headquarters on Walkers Road. Entry fee just $25 KYT. All proceeds go to the Youth Camp 2026. So lace up, show your spirit, and let's make a difference together. Sponsored by Lasco and Praise 87.9 FM, the voice of hope for the Cayman Islands.
The sun it hot like fire, but I still have to go try and get you what me have to do today. My friend them on the economy, I link them up, we gonna ride up soon. Go look around me, say I ride cool, say I play cool, say I stay cool, say I drink cool, say my friend them Billy spread them with I cool, them drink it in them with I cool for life. I cool for life.
I want to say I cool for life, and that's what I'm saying right here on Flashpoint. I want to say thank you guys for joining us this morning for such an exciting episode of this morning's breakfast hour. Of course, catch me tomorrow morning, and of course Lady Elise and our news anchor Lady Coralie Karen tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. when we start off with some energetic music and some vibe that and some discussional pieces as well. Of course, some of our more savvy persons are coming on to just talk a little bit more about how to treat people better and talk a little bit more about the family. Of course, thank you guys. It has been a morning with a difference. Have yourself a Flashpoint day.
A day and 6,316 each and every hour.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 3 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries. We'll make our own way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, we'll all sing better outside. Just us in the sky. I will go wherever, I'll be yours Are we part of this circus? Is it innate? Feels like a heavy burden, but I can't relate. Do our actions even matter? Or is this a fate? At least now I'm feeling better. I know I'm here to stay. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd.
We use the internet to advance the gospel of Jesus Christ, transforming lives, renewing hearts, 24/7, 7 days a week. Internet radio in a class by itself. We're flashing the gospel around the world as a witness. And someone will say, you know what? I heard it on Flashpoint Radio, and my life has been changed. Flashpoint in a class by itself.